Hello and welcome again to another episode of One Starfish, where our mission is to help change the world one starfish or one person at a time. As always, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, all that stuff. Really excited to have our guest today. He's hailing from Missouri, which is super cool. Great to have you with us, Sammy.
Hey, great. Thank you so much for having me. This
Awesome.
is, as you can see from my background, I'm out in God's country, so this one's going to be extra special.
That's right. It's always special when it's in God's country. I love it. So Sammy has a painting company, but his passion is actually an NLP coach. He's actually getting John Well certified coaching, speaker, all of that kind of stuff, which is really exciting. So I'm excited to delve into that. What got you started? He's 22 years married. He's a grandpa, all this stuff. So he's pretty knowledgeable in a lot of different areas, which is super exciting. So let's go back to what got you down into the coaching, speaking, like that world. Like, how long have you been kind of in that, and why did you go into that?
So as you mentioned, I own a painting company. I've had that for 12 years, and I spent 7 years doing everything wrong. Absolutely. There wasn't, while everybody says, oh, yeah, own your own business, it's so easy and you're rich. And yeah, that's all lies until you learn. And Uh, about 5 years ago, I literally bumped into a gentleman, and he invited me to a networking event. I had no idea what networking even was. And we had 7 years in business, and I didn't know what networking was. And went and absolutely loved it. I just loved getting up in front of people and talking and meeting new faces. I've always been an extrovert, but this really brought out, like, now I'm an extrovert on steroids. And I fell in love with loving people. And so I was like, man, how can I do this more? And that started the journey.
That's really
So,
cool. And where is that journey kind of taking you? And obviously you're getting more certifications and stuff. What do you kind of see as your vision with where it's going, Sammy?
my vision is to help individuals with gratitude. I
Mm.
mean, more than anything, I feel like that's a big thing that's just missed in today's society and world. And we live in a world right now, I feel like, is more we expect,
Mm-hmm.
and the expectations lead to anger and anxiety, stress, and and that's part of life. But it's all gratitude's also a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
To 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 literally wake up in the morning and just say, hey, thank you so much for allowing me to wake up today, and my eyes work and my legs work, and I can walk and talk and hear and taste food today. And like, those are the things we expect until they're taken away.
Amen.
And um, so that's a big thing, is just helping anybody uh, just really figure out what gratitude is. I think it's a lost art, and it's time to find it again.
And I love that. And so and I say that to people all the time because like I thought I was fine until my legs were taken out from under me. And so, I just tell people, appreciate the things that you don't really think about until they're gone. Then you really know, like if you have a hard time breathing, and some of the listeners maybe are having that, Matt, how special that is. Whereas the rest of us, say for me, I don't normally take breath, special until it's gone. So you kind of notice
Yeah.
that stuff. So as you went down that journey, Sammy, you said, the first was it 7, 12 years of your business, you were really struggling, you were working really hard, but like it wasn't really resulting much. How has that like mind shift started to shift your business financially, like everything? How did that kind of help the whole situation?
Well, for me, it was okay. If you're in business or in sales, or anything really, it's one of those, you live in a roller coaster world. There's ups, there's downs. I'm broke. Hey, I've got some money. Oh, I'm broke again. And it's, how do you treat those broke times? How do you come out of those situations? Somehow or another, most all of us, if not all of us, somehow or another, we make it through it. And do we appreciate, did we learn the lessons from being broke that time? What did I do? Oh, I got an extra, you know $500. Oh, cool. Let me go buy this and let me go out to eat and let me go. And you learn, oh crap, now I'm broke again. Hey, the next time I get $500, I'm not going to do all that kind of stuff. I'm going to appreciate the money that I did get, and whether it's save it or figure out how to invest it.
Mm-hmm.
It's figuring out, no matter what, you're always going to have ups and downs. You're going to have that roller coaster life, but it's making the roller coaster not have the loop de loops.
Right. Okay.
The ones that turn you on your head, and you know and that's the big part of it. So my downs are not near as far down anymore, and my ups are a lot higher.
I love that. Ups are higher, downs are not as low. And because I mean NLP and all of that kind of stuff, I mean, I love that stuff about programming your brain. How did that start to shift? Like people, I'm all about results. So how did that really start to shift everything around you as you started getting into that you delved deeper and became certified, and now you're becoming John Maxwell certified? How did that shift a lot of the stuff? Like, give us some tangible, like, wow, this was crazy how, like, I know for me, I did, I got into personal development about 5 years ago, and about 4 years ago, our business grew 167%. Well, 2 years ago, sorry, 2020. And, that's a compound effect. How did that kind of happen for you? Like with that personal growth, because it's a lot of work when you're working on yourself and you're working on your mind, and it's hard work to be able to change your programming. For most people anyway, I would say for all people, but I'll say most people, it's a lot of work. How did that, like, what was it worth it? Tell me why it was worth it.
For me, it was worth it initially, and even now, but initially it was neat to be able to, when I was going in to do a sales call, to talk to people in their language, to read their body language, to listen to their voice tonalities. I do a thing, it's called big chunker, little chunker. And we pretty much everybody, we deal with this. At night, you go home and, your loved one there, hey, how was your day? Oh, my day was good. And then they, out of courtesy, they ask you, well, how was your day? Oh, my day. Well, today at 7 o'clock, I had this meeting, and then at 8:30, a Tom came up, and then at 9, and then dot, 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 dot.
Right.
Big chunkers, they don't want all the little stuff. They just give me what's the price? Give me the price and I'm done. Little chunkers, you better give them details. If you don't give them details, they're just going to sit there and stress out. It's things just like that, of when you're talking to a client or even a loved one. Maybe somebody's going through something. You can't sit there, if they're a big chunker and you know that, you can't sit there and try to coddle them and, oh, it's going to be okay. And well, you did do this and do that and do that. They're like, no, honestly, you're pushing them away. So it's, for me, it was just, like off the Matrix, like Neo. I want to walk into a room and just read the room, and to me, that is an amazing thing. Not because I'm looking to use anybody or manipulate anybody, but so that I can serve people even better, just to, again, speak into their language.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, you can use that to be able to help people more, because like you said, if someone's suffering, for instance, I like that, and they want the details or they don't want the details, and you do the opposite, like you're just not helping them. And I think of myself, I'm definitely like, just keep it simple, tell me the facts. Like mom goes into stories and I'm like, what's the end? What's the purpose of the story? And so like, but you lose people that way. So you don't help as many people if you don't communicate in their language. So, as a coach and stuff, what are some, we got a lot of people I'm sure listening that are, entrepreneurs or inspiring entrepreneurs, or, that kind of mentality obviously normally listens to these podcasts where they want to make a difference and they want to make a change out there. What are some tangible tips that you would give if you were, coaching someone and they just are kind of new into this, that maybe there's a book you would suggest or podcast you'd suggest, or something you suggest? By the way, Sammy has a podcast, so we'll have that link in our bio too. But is there something that you would suggest, that they start down that path of programming themselves?
Well, as far as books, I could name so many. one of my favorite books is John Maxwell's Fail Forward. Again, for me, that book, it's about life. You're gonna fail. Stuff's gonna happen that's out of your control, and it kind of brings it full circle to say, hey, you do control a little bit more than what you think. So I would definitely recommend that book. I can't think of the author's name, but there's a book called Everything is Figure Outable.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of it's a young lady. It's a great, awesome book. Again, just love that book. Biggest thing I could tell new entrepreneurs is start and be genuine. More than anything else, it's nothing's going to be perfect. Nothing's going to work out exactly how you expected it.
Mm-hmm.
And then be genuine with people. That's it. Business and in life is about relationships. Um, the more relationships you have, the more financially, the more mindset, the more positivity, happiness, everything you're going to have. And so, but the only way to build those relationships is be genuine, be
Mm-hmm.
honest about it. Don't, as they say, don't try to blow smoke up somebody's butt. You know, if you want their business, be genuine about it. If you really care what their house looks like, be genuine about it. You know, so and then just start. I feel so many people are just, it's the fear of failure. It's the fear of judgment of others.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I tell it like this. You take a heavy set person and they're walking down the road, and there's going to be a couple people and they're going to look at them and they're going to, oh my God, look at them. Why they're lazy and what do they eat fast food all the time? And they're just going to judge you, judge. And you take that same person who's heavy set and they start working out and, you know, they go on a diet and they get fit. The same two people could see that person a year later fit, look like a bodybuilder, and they're going to go, oh, well, what do they think? They're better than somebody? What are they? Oh, I bet they're on steroids. Well, you know, so either way around, you're going to get judged.
Right.
So,
So you
you
might as well
know,
be fitting on steroids. Not really, but yeah, fit.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's, you're going to get judged. So let that just slide off you and go, hey, this is for me, not for them, you know? And so, yeah, those are my big things. Start and be genuine.
Those are good. I love that. And so going down that trail, when you started to, going to the painting business and then, going into the coaching business, which is kind of a little bit different, I would say, in realms, for a lot of people, blue collar coaching, just different. Did you have, in your associations, when you talk about that judgment stuff, did you have some associations that you had a limit from or distance from or completely, cut out of your life? Did you find any of that as you started to transition from, one thing to the other and started to change your identity?
Um, Surprisingly, I would say no, not really. I know a lot of people do have that. I have a great support system, wife and the kids and just friends. I was doing things before the self-development that I didn't know were actually really good for me. I've always been very limited on who I allow in my circle, you
Mm.
know, and it's, you know, you're either honest with me and I'm honest with you, or else we're just not fit for each other. So um a, a little bit, yeah. I mean, I will say this. I have one person that used to be a really close friend of mine, and his world revolved around him always being better. And
Mm.
I had to cut him out. You know, as I put it like this, you can love people from afar and still love them, and that's fine. Him, I love from afar, but he can't be in my immediate circle. You know, it's always trying to one up somebody, and it's like, that's great. That's not me, and I don't want that energy around me. You know, but I would say probably other than him, no, it's been a pretty good circle, and again, it's just close knit, you know, friendships and loved ones. So
That's awesome. I love that. And so, as you built that, were there some things that helped you grow faster? And like, even in going back to the painting business and starting it, did you grow up in an entrepreneurial family, or did you just randomly decide to be entrepreneurial, kind of going way back? Where did all of that decision kind of come from?
Nope. I grew up, and I'll say fortunately, in a very poor family. My mother had polio her whole life, so she was in a wheelchair, and so that, and from a very small town, so that limited a lot of her opportunities.
Mhm.
And my dad was, unfortunately, very uneducated, so so yeah, we kind of grew up poorer. Um, Out of high school, I didn't have a plan. I had no idea. I didn't even know what an entrepreneur or owning your own business, nothing like that was. I went into the army thinking, well, maybe this is my lifelong thing.
Mm.
And it wasn't. I enjoyed my time. It was great. I'm glad I did it. Um, and it was 2008. We lost everything. I thought I was living the dream. You know, we had the house and the 25 acres and the boat and four wheelers and this and that. And it is amazing. And I will tell everybody right now, it is amazing how fast you can lose it. And we did. We lost everything. And I just, at the end of the year, after working for 12 different companies, um, I told my wife, or I asked my wife, I think I'm going to try this on my own, you know, and and I just kind of did it. There was no, again, I did everything wrong for 7 years. Like, yeah, that was not good. But I learned and I enjoyed it, and I still love what I'm doing today. I think a lot of it is just loving what you do. Um, so yeah, there was no inspiration, no, hey, you can be whatever you want when you grow up. It was more like I was most families. It was, hey, get a good job and get married, and hopefully life works out great. You know, and I said no. There's more, and I want more.
You did have a sounds like a very strong example, though. I'm guessing with your mom having polio, because that's mentally very tough. And for her to raise kids and deal with that, you had a very strong example in that. I don't know much of obviously the exact, but I do know, like, I'm not in a wheelchair, but I know when you have health issues, raising kids would be very tough. So, and being in a wheelchair and dealing with that. So I think that probably some of your grit may have come from, I don't know your dad as much, but definitely sounds like your mom dealing with some of that. You would have seen that, because most of the things in our life are caught, not taught. So,
Yeah.
That concept of coming from that, even coming from, like you said, a poorer family, but probably your dad worked really hard, and just seeing that would have influenced you a lot, which is really cool in your life. And then, so in starting that business, for 7 years, you said you struggled. What are some tips that you would give someone that, maybe would have helped you maybe not struggle for so long as much?
Oh yeah. uh, so I'm gonna go back on the mom thing real quick.
Okay.
Uh, yes, it was a struggle, but I will always give that woman props. At one time, she babysat 22 kids.
Holy, yeah.
So yeah, that's,
Wow.
I'm very healthy, and I'm not doing that. That's just
No.
so. But
Wow.
I always got to give her props for that, because boy, oh boy, man.
Yeah, caught not taught. Like, you had an amazing role model there of
Yeah,
work ethic and just like doing it anyway. Like,
yeah, yeah. Oh boy.
wow.
Uh, as far as the business side of it, uh, boy, again, if I could go back and tell myself the first year in business, it's uh, quit chasing money. The money will come. The sooner you quit chasing the money is the faster it'll actually get to you. That was a very hard lesson for me. And know your worth. Know your self-worth, whether it's your knowledge based or your physical base. Know your worth. I didn't know my worth for the longest time. I would question myself, and I would put my biases on potential customers, and that would cause me to not get a lot of jobs.
Mm.
So yes, know your self-worth, and probably the most of all, believe in yourself. That one, again, I think that's something that I don't struggle with now, but I still question every once in a while. It's like, all right, and for me, that's part of that self growth is, is you're going to try new things. Well, you got to believe that you can do those new things, and you know, believe that it's going to work out and it's all going to be a good. And that's kind of with the coaching and the speaking business. Uh, I've never been one to ask somebody's permission to do something. For me, it was, hey, I'm doing this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it. And then you just believe that you can do it and go after it, you know.
So I love that
So
you're touching on the self-belief, Sammy, because I feel that that's a big thing and it's something that I would say I didn't struggle with as much. And I was raised, I believe a lot of it was how I was raised, that I could do anything. Though they didn't understand anything I did, I could do anything. It was subconsciously programmed. But for a lot of people, it's not. Their teacher says maybe you'll never amount to anything, and they hear that, or whatever happens in their upbringing. They're already programmed by the time they're an adult. So what are some things that NLP stuff. So what are some things that would help someone, that is struggling with self-belief and not sure? Because I think that is very key. What are some things that might be able to help them, conquer that limiting belief that they've had probably since childhood to be able to believe in themselves?
first off, start. That's a good one. Again, the self-belief part is we're so normally our self-belief comes from fear. Fear again of others' judgments, of the judgments of we have, ourselves. Um, and so we won't even start. We say, well, what's the use? You know, eh, you have to, the use is because you know, it's just start and take one step. I say it like this: if you want to start working out, just go for a walk around the block.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to try to do it all at once, and that's self belief. Is I don't have to believe that I can dominate the world or become a millionaire or uh, have the biggest business in the world. I just need to start and with one person. Just start with one job, and then from that job, what did I learn? And you're going to learn the bad and the good, and that's accepting the bad too. The belief is surrounding yourself with other positive people that believe in you. Like I said earlier, I am very picky on my close knit, per se top five. Um, and if it's somebody that doesn't, and I don't mean this in a selfish way, if it's not somebody that can serve me, then they can't be allowed in that area. And vice versa. I want to be able to serve them just as much.
Amen.
That positivity, you got to have a positive, base around you. And I think that's huge in your own self-belief, because there's going to be times, no matter what, that you're going to be down on yourself. Things didn't work out. You didn't get that one job. You didn't get the promotion. Okay, well, that's fine. What can you do better? What didn't you do? How can I help you? And again, when we look back, we go, holy crap, it ended up working out okay anyway. Man, how did that happen?
Because it always
And
does.
because it does,
Yeah. What
So
about
yeah,
do you do much about self-talk or, visualization or anything like that? Or how do you feel about some of those things for reprogramming?
love them. Absolutely love them. I am actually, well, this will be my first announcement. I am actually writing my first book right now, called Broken Gratitude. And one of the chapters is about self-talk. Uh, it, I will invite everybody out there right now, get rid of the word can't. There is nothing in this world that you can't do.
Mm.
I am 5'6", 200 pounds, and I can slam a basketball. I might need help, but I can do it.
Right.
You know, get rid of the word can't. That word, since I've really delved into the self-talk, it drives me nuts. And I will tell people, friends, not friends, strangers, if I hear them say the word can't, I'm going, well, what do you mean you can't? Why can't you do that? What is holding you back? Why can't,
Just call
we
them out on
use the word, yeah. And it's uh, because we can. The only reason you can't is because you're not. And
it.
that's it. That's a big one. Um, so you said self-talk. Self-talk is huge.
Visualization.
Visualization, I do every day, multiple times usually. I like having the boards, you know
Vision,
what I'm getting ready to say.
vision boards.
Vision boards.
Yes.
I like having the vision boards and just the visualization. Now, I will say this: when you go into your vision of what you want, so when I wanted to be a speaker. My visualization went as deep as I could smell the room. I can see the room. I can smell the room. I can feel the microphone. I know exactly what suit I'm wearing, what tie, what socks. Go deep in your visual. Boy, that word is killing me today.
You and me
In
both
your
today, can't
visions.
talk.
We'll just say vision. Go deep in those visions, and the deeper you go, the better. And it's repeating them because they become real. I know, and feel. Once you have put that much into it, literally your brain does not know the difference. And what your brain does, it will actually take you to achieve that. Your brain wants you to succeed, so it will start putting you in places and around people and in front of books or even TV shows that drive you to that point.
Hmm.
You know, so it's what you visualize is what you can become. But that goes back to the belief. You got to believe that you can. You know, so yeah, I'm a big proponent of both of those. You know, the self talk is especially. It's we our energy comes from what we say.
Hmm.
You know, if we think it, it's one thing. It kind of becomes true. If you speak it, it actually puts power behind it. And
Hmm.
why would we want to give negative negativity in power? I don't,
No,
and I'm sure all of your listeners don't. You know, so quit giving the negativity and the can't things power, and I guarantee you will engulf more of your own. You know.
that's so true. I love that. I'm just reading the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, by Shad Helpstetter, I believe. And it's really good. Recommended by a few people. So, there's another book. I think you have to get it used. I don't know if it's new anymore, but anyway, it's a good book. But that's why I was asking about that, is like building self-belief and reprogramming your brain and all of that stuff. So, yeah, very good stuff. So in wrapping up, we have a few final questions and then anything that you want to leave the listeners with. So, three final questions. First one, someone's looking for their purpose. Everyone talks about finding their purpose, finding their why. If someone's looking for their purpose, what's one sentence or paragraph, or whatever that you would say to help them find their purpose?
Start doing things you love.
Perfect.
Your purpose most times will find you. Start doing things you love.
Love it. That's so good. Number two, and I'm sure you have more than one, but what is your favorite quote and why?
Oh boy. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Um, I'm thinking of Les Brown's. Oh boy, you caught me off guard.
Not
It's
Les Brown.
yeah. Oh, that's Les Brown. It's the oh my goodness, I am totally drawing a blank.
All right. We can come
It's
back.
a Les Brown quote. Yeah, we'll come back.
Okay. And third and final question, what is one word or sentence you want on your gravestone?
Gratitude.
Perfect. Yeah. I love it. Is there anything that you would like to leave our listeners that, if you run into one of them at a coffee shop and they're like, hey, Sammy, that was great. I listened to the podcast, but, I just, was there anything else that you would like to share on the podcast that maybe we didn't touch that you think would help our listeners today?
Les Brown.
Okay,
If you
perfect.
do things that are easy, life will be hard. If you do things that are hard, life will be easy.
I like
I remembered it.
I like it. It's a good one.
The coffee shop. So I would there's two things that I tell people that literally at coffee shops. Because a big thing they say, hey Sammy, I want to do. I don't have the time. And I have them do a time journal for a week. I say, write down everything you do every day from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep, and you will see how much time you truly have. And secondly, I get a lot of, I don't know how to get gratitude in my life, or I don't know how to find happiness in my life. I invite people to do this every night, or at least one night, because it only takes one night. I want you to write down, before you go to bed, write down everything that you are grateful for. Everything. Down to, I am grateful for walking and talking, and go as deep as you can. And here's the kicker, because the next day, those are the only things you're allowed in your life. And if you would live a life that proceeded like that, I bet you'd be a lot more grateful for a lot more things.
I'd hope so. You'd have a lot of stuff out of your life.
Yep. Oh crap! I forgot to write down eating. Oh man, I don't get to
I'm gonna
eat
be
today.
hungry. I'll definitely write down ice cream. I love that. That was so good, Sammy. I know listeners, like I said, make sure to check out. We'll have links for Sammy's stuff, and I guess his book is coming out. So all that in the show notes, and make sure to follow him and reach out if you have any questions on anything. As always, make sure to share this with other people so together we can make the difference. We can change one starfish or one life at a time, and together we can change the world. Thank you so much for being on, Sammy.
Thank you so much for having me.